Welcome back. I'm Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and today is something super special. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a tumbler that I had specially made for another YouTube creator here on YouTube. Yes. So make sure that you stick around to the end to see who I get and them opening up my tumbler. But I am so honored and excited to be a part of this Secret Santa Christmas collaboration that Taylor from Duncan Custom Airbrush has put together. So he'll be coming on here in a second to let me know who I got. And also make sure you go down into the description and see all the other people that participated in this collaboration. I have been watching, and it's just been so much fun seeing everybody's creations and watching everybody unbox their gifts to each other. It has been so much fun. So make sure you guys check out everybody else's YouTube videos as well. This has just been so exciting to work on, and I can't wait to do it again next year with even more content creators. So Taylor's gonna tell us, Santa's gonna tell us who I get. So let's take a look.
Merry Christmas! Hey, welcome to this Christmas collab of YouTuber tumbler makers. Today, I feel like I'm a little underdressed. Give me 1 second. Whoa, ho, ho, hey, that's better. Santa sent me to personally invite you to be one of his secret Santas. What? He even sent his magic bag with a present in it just for you. In this box, Santa has selected another YouTuber tumbler maker for you to make a tumbler to and give it to on Christmas. What? So let's see who you got. I'm gonna take a peek. Oh my gosh. You're gonna love it. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. You get to make a tumbler gift for, are you ready? Are you sure? Are you ready?
Goodness, I am so nervous. I'm so excited, but I know I got this, right? I got this. We got this. So I'm ready to wake up, prep these tumblers, and slay all day. Let's do this. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I actually just thought really hard. What would Rebecca like? I know that she actually lives not too far away from me, so she's right here in Florida with me. And so my thought was to make something that was kind of like a beach themed, but not quite a beach theme. I kind of wanted to think outside of the box from a typical beach tumbler. I wanted it to be a little bit more magical. So here I am right here. I went ahead and prepped and primed my tumbler. Now right here I have my epoxy, and I actually put a little bit of glitter into it. I put a little bit of white diamond, and I also am putting a little bit of this white mica powder into it as well. And this is going to essentially be the base of my tumbler. So this is going to kind of be like a cross between a milk bath type tumbler and a beach theme type tumbler. So this is going to be the bottom. I wanted it to look kind of like seashells, like the underside of seashells, you know, like mother of pearl type stuff. So that's why I went ahead and I'm applying this for my base today. Now, typically you can kind of manipulate your mica powders to go in any type of direction you would like. So if you want it more up and down, you would wipe your epoxy up and down to give it more of a straight look. But I really wanted that swirly, twirly look. So I didn't, it didn't matter how I applied it. And I actually came back through and I just tapped my fingers around to kind of give it more of that effect. Now, I also forgot to mention that because this is a white tumbler, I am going to go ahead and use my amazing plus line that has the UV inhibitors in it because we don't want it to yellow as quickly. So that's the kind of epoxy that I'm using for every single round to make sure that it stays as white as possible for as long as possible. All right, I let it cure overnight and it is ready to have some decals applied. Now the decals that I will be using, I can't remember where I got it off of, but I'll make sure to put it down in the description box below where I got this. But I just went ahead and printed these seashells out on some clear water slide paper. But because I use clear water slide paper, I'm not too worried about getting too close to the edge, so I just kind of hand cut it myself. It's completely up to you guys as to how you'd like to cut your decals out. Now on to applying these decals. I wanted it to be, like I said, I wanted it to be like a cross between a milk bath and meets a beach scene. So I essentially wanted to swirl my decals up and around my tumbler to kind of give it just a little bit more of like a special effect. So maybe it's even almost like a swirl cut. So it's like part all kinds of stuff. I don't know. But what I essentially am doing is I know I wanted it to start in the front and I wanted it to end around the front as well. So I'm starting at the very bottom, and I just kind of came through and made sure that I put one decal up at the top so I knew where I wanted it to end, and I could just kind of meet and join everything all together. So there it is in the front, and it goes all the way around and ends at the very top of the tumbler. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick that off to the side and let my water slide decals dry there. And while those dry, I'm going to go ahead and get my epoxy mixed up for this next round. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of epoxy going on. I did 1 ounce each of A and B, so 2 ounces altogether of epoxy for this next round. And I'm just going to divvy up a little bit into 3 little containers there, leave just a little bit of clear off to the side, and in this mix right here into this cup, I'm going to apply more of that mica powder that I did on the bottom base as well. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up really good, and then I am going to apply that to my tumbler. So the whole reason for this coating with the mica powders over top is just to give it a little bit more dimension, just to give it a little bit more whimsy. Because we're going for magical, we're going for beachy, and I just really wanted it to have just a little bit different of a look to it than you typically would see. Altogether, I would say I probably applied about another 20 mLs of epoxy over top of this. You definitely want enough room for all the swirls that we're going to be doing on this, so you just want to be very careful, especially up and around the handle. I try not to do too much of a thick coating of epoxy with handled cups because you don't want that buildup around the handle, but you definitely need a little bit more so that way those swirls can kind of do their thing. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up, and I'm going to go ahead and put it right onto my turner, and we'll move on to that next step. So my little 1 turner here, I actually purchased from Mr. Nola's Glitter, and I'll make sure to put that into the description box below. But this is a great little 1 turner for me to be able to do this and show you guys and have all my camera stuff set up. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is start putting our glitter into those 3 little containers that we had divvied up our epoxy into. Into this first one, I just applied some Blizzard. It has little snowflakes and opals in it. That second dish there has Believe inside of it. It's very pretty champagne opal glitter. And that third one has Agenda in it. Again, it's a white opal glitter, and all those are from my glitter shop, socglitters.com. But you could obviously use any glitters you already have on hand to achieve this look. Now the next thing I'm going to do is right into that wet epoxy. I'm going to take a bit of that clear epoxy that we also set off to the side, and I'm going to actually dab that around the swirl of the seashells. That's just going to really give it a lot more character. It's going to look like that mica powder is kind of swirled up into the seashells. And then I'm going to take just a little bit and completely dab the entire thing in it just to give it even more dimension. All right, now for the fun stuff, adding the glitter. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my finger again, and I'm gonna take this Blizzard, and I'm just going to smear it around right where the seashells are at, just like we did with the clear epoxy. It doesn't matter how much you apply. You can do as little or as less as you would like. It is completely up to you guys. There is no right or wrong when it comes to making art. But I even make sure that I come up onto the handle as well, because the handle does kind of go into the swirl a little bit. So it's kind of a part of the scene we have. So I made sure to even put some of it up onto the handle as well. After I applied that, I made sure to kind of make sure that those snowflakes weren't bunched up onto each other. You just want to kind of push everything around, make sure it's nice and separated. And I'm actually going to come through and hit it up just a little bit with my torch to kind of make things shift just a little bit, to add a little bit more swirls and texture to the epoxy. So now I'm going to go ahead and start applying some of my other colors here. Now with my other colors, I'm actually going to be using kind of like this fine tip silicone tool. You can use a popsicle stick, you can use your finger again. It really all depends on how thick you want your lines to be. But I wanted my lines to be pretty thin. I wanted some that were a little bit thicker, some that were thinner. I just wanted a variation of thickness with my lines. And of course, your thickness of your lines also depends on how much your epoxy has been sitting. For an example, if you apply your epoxy right away, those lines are going to spread out and become a little bit thicker, which I did do some of those. So this epoxy hasn't been sitting for too long. Then I actually came back through once my epoxy had sat for probably about 10-15 minutes. So it's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit thicker. And then the thinner lines really start to appear. It stays more thin when you let your epoxy sit just a little bit longer. So again, I'm just going to apply my gold here until I feel like it's enough gold, and then I'm going to apply my white glitter as well. Now, I was a little bit nervous about the white glitter because this was kind of a last minute thing for me. I didn't know if I wanted to do the white glitter or not, and I am so happy that I did. I really feel like it just really adds to everything that we have going on here. It doesn't add too much, just enough of that magical whimsy that we are looking for here to the tumbler. So all of my other glitters I kept tight inside of where those seashells were. There we go. But with this white, I'm actually coming up beyond that, up into the rest of the tumbler as well, just to kind of give it just a little bit more character. But I know wherever your imagination takes you, when it comes to making your own, let it take you there. I know you guys got this. All right, after I got my white applied, I am just going to let that cure overnight, and then we're ready to add our finishing decals to it. And here she is the next morning and ready to have her decal applied. But the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and clean up our rim really good, give it a good sanding in case there's any little glitters that might be poking up, especially when I did some of those glitters around the handle. Some of them did kind of poke up just a little bit. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and smooth. Give your rim a good sanding, give the bottom a good sanding, make sure the handle is smooth, but make sure you don't rub too much onto the handle because our coats of epoxy aren't too thick, so you run the risk of accidentally sanding away any of the things that we might have done around that handle. So just be very careful whenever you're doing this process. After I'm done sanding it, I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol and a rag, and then we'll apply the decal. So for the decal, I obviously wanted to stick with our beachy summer feel. So I went with Baby It's Warm Outside. And I will make sure that I put where I got my fonts from down in the description box because I did make this up myself. And I just did a simple white offset, and I am using a textured gold vinyl for the center part. After that, I'm going to give it its last couple coats of finishing epoxy, and she is ready to go. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for, we get to watch Rebecca open up her tumbler.
Hey guys, it's Rebecca. I'm so excited to share with you my gift from Sandy's Organized Chaos. As you can see, it's not been opened yet, so we get to open it right now together. Ooh. Here we go. I can get it open with my nails. Oof. Wow. This is so beautiful. Oh my God. It says, baby, it's warm outside. She knows I'm in Florida. This is so pretty. Sandy, thank you so much for this. This is absolutely gorgeous. I am gonna be using this all the time. This was so much fun. I cannot wait to do this again next year. Thank you guys so much.
I am so happy that you love your tumbler, Rebecca. It was a complete honor to make this for you. Whether you take this design and duplicate it as is, or you take it and let it inspire you to create something that is completely your own, I hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this Christmas collaboration today. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.